Maya weaving and Maya weavers are alive and well today. Throughout the highlands of Guatemala, thousands of Maya women and men weave for their families and for sale. They sell to other Maya, tourists, and local and international business enterprises, as well as to the global market over the internet. The textiles themselves are rich in design and color. Their clothing or traje, a veritable rainbow. Let's visit some highland communities to see for ourselves what different weavers weave and what they wear. In Patoon, Gregoria wears the traditional blouse or huipil associated with her community while she prepares the warp or vertical threads for a new huipil. She uses a warping board and selects the colors she will include in the stripes. Preparing a backstrap loom is a time-consuming task. It will take several days for Gregoria to warp her loom. Across the way, her father watches as she works. Kneeling into her loom and weaving 2 to 3 hours per day, it will take her 3 days to complete the 2 pieces of plain weave cloth for the huipil and 15 days to embroider it. Because of its popular dark red color and floral embroidery, Patoon huipiles are now sold and worn in other areas of the country as well. Gregoria attaches an extra rod to her loom that allows for a loom finish selvage. She clears the shed with the sword, as the cotton warps tend to stick to each other. After making sure the shed is clear, she inserts a smooth plastic pipe to replace a wooden shed rod. Then she removes the original end rod. This allows for a finished edge so that the cloth doesn't have to be cut and hemmed. Gregoria's daughter, Jocavel, embroiders a huipil nearby. The process of weaving and embroidering textiles is often communal among the Maya.
Ella va a arreglar porque aquí se le cayó el palo donde hay que sostener todos esos hilos. Mi hijo.
In Nawala, we find every weaver's nightmare. Juana wants to demonstrate her backstrap loom weaving, but while away at the market, her 3-year-old son has pulled out all the sticks. She was weaving a huipil similar to the one she is wearing, but now she must rewarp her loom before continuing, a frustrating process at this stage of the weaving. Berta wears a huipil formerly popular in San Lucas, Toliman, where there are many different innovative styles. The band across her chest is a typical motif in her community. Berta sits on a box rather than kneeling. She is using her backstrap loom to weave the horizontal supplementary weft pattern brocading on a huipil panel. She works 2 to 3 hours a day for 15 days on each of the 2 panels needed to make a huipil. She sells her textiles to a market vendor for $25, money that helps support her family. In the same compound, Maria Stella sits on a small chair and uses her backstrap loom to weave a huipil panel decorated with tiny designs of birds, ducks, and dogs in a supplementary weft pattern, similar to the huipil she is wearing. She hits the warp thread sharply to separate them. The embroidered collar and sleeve borders of her own huipil were probably purchased at a market and added after the 2 panels were sewn together and the neck hole was cut out. It will take Maria Stella a month to weave the 2 panels for the new huipil. When finished, she can sell it for $25. Across town, Martina joins Sara in her patio with her stool and backstrap loom to weave and chat amicably. Though they understand some Spanish, they converse in Cachiquel, one of the 22 indigenous languages in Guatemala. Many Maya women are not fluent in Spanish. Their children, however, now learn it when they attend primary school. Martina wears a huipil from Totonicapán. These days, Maya women wear both huipiles and blusas as traje. Generally speaking, huipiles are hand-woven and heavier. Blusas are made of lighter weight, commercially woven fabrics, and so are cooler. Embroidery around the neck is common on both. Martina weaves a panel for a huipil in a San Lucas Toliman style. Her loom includes a plastic pipe in place of a wooden shed rod. Wood is becoming increasingly scarce in the Highlands. Sara works on an all-purpose cloth called a servilleta. She can complete weaving it in a few hours during the afternoon. The textile uses the traditional red stripes on white and the small animal or bird supplementary weft figures of her community. Both Sara and Berta sell their work through a market vendor. The money they receive is an important addition to their family income, especially when it comes to paying their children's school fees. At the Galeria Ordóñez in Santa Catarina, Palopo, Catalina kneels to work on her backstrap loom. She is making a panel for a huipil in colors similar to what she is wearing. Formerly, the women's huipiles and headdresses of Catalina's community were predominantly red. About 8 years ago, they switched to blue and green. Gladys is wearing a Patoon-style huipil. She weaves, however, in the double-faced supplementary weft style unique to San Antonio Aguascalientes, where she lives. She also kneels when she weaves. Gladys works during the day in Antigua, where she has set up a small sales area in the doorway of a language school. There she weaves to demonstrate her craft to potential customers and to increase her sales stock. Delme demonstrates weaving at the Casa del Tejido Antiguo, a textile museum in Antigua. She sits on a stool and uses a large bone needle or aguja for warp pickup work. The textile she is making will be sold in the museum's store. Delme's own huipil is of an older design, arranged in an unusual order on the front and back. But the shoulder portion is double-faced supplementary weft brocading, or marcador. Delme's hometown, Santa Catarina, Barahona, is very close to San Antonio, Aguascalientes. Both communities are known for their huipiles de marcador. Maria works and weaves at the Cojolia Weaving Center and Museum in Santiago Atitlan. Instead of kneeling or using a stool, she spreads her legs out in front of her as she sets up her loom. She is weaving a scarf of new colors and materials on a traditional backstrap loom. The addition of the weft-made fringe is a recent innovation and is especially decorative. American Candace Crummell, who has lived in Santiago Atitlan for 26 years, helped start the Cojolia Center and designs marketable products that can be made with traditional weaving techniques and sold locally and abroad. Manuela is weaving the center panel for a huipil in the style of her community, Chichicastenango. The panel is almost finished. You can see where she will cut out the head hole and finish the neck. Manuela learned to weave when she was 13, older than most Maya girls. She is weaving her pattern in two-faced, supplementary weft brocading, which she calls bordado, a term normally meaning embroidered when translated. She uses two heddle rods to facilitate the complicated design. She leaves the pattern yarn dangling in the back within easy reach when needed. Manuela is using a space-dyed yarn called manchado. Each strand is multicolored. Manuela kneels while leaning back into her backstrap loom, controlling the tension with her body. She wears the traje of Chichicastenango, including a multicolored huipil, embroidered flowered belt, and short wraparound ikat or jaspe skirt called a Corte. Manuela works on commission and sells her huipiles for $250 and up, depending on the materials used. A huipil using rayon yarn can cost up to $500. In the 16th century, the Spaniards brought the floor loom to the New World and forced participation in workshops. The Maya subsequently adapted it for their own uses. On the shores of Lake Atitlan, a different Manuela uses a small floor loom to weave a ribbon or cinta, like the one she is wearing in her hair. Such looms may also be used for belts or fajas. Next door in her storefront home, Sandra weaves yardage on her brand new floor loom. Like her neighbor Manuela, she wears the typical huipil of her community. Her huipil is made out of a textile very similar to what she is weaving. Sandra's prized floor loom cost her $100. Many Maya women use a wraparound ikat or jaspe skirt called a Corte. Salcaja in the department of Quetzaltenango is a center of jaspe production. The first step in the jaspe process is to stretch out lengths of solid colored yarn in the street for more than a block. Then groups or bundles of the yarn are wrapped very tightly together according to the desired pattern. The second step of the process involves a dyer's workshop, or tintoreria. The skein is thoroughly moistened so that the dye will take. Then the water is wrung out. The workers are under pressure as they have many orders to fill. The black dye now used for jaspe comes from abroad. The knotted, moistened, and wrung-out skein is submerged in a vat of hot black dye and stomped to spread the dye. The work is arduous. Once again, the skein is wrung out to remove excess dye, rinsed and wrung out a third time. The skein is then checked by undoing one of the ties to prove that the dye has not bled into the underlying color. In this case, the underlying color is pink, indicating that the yarn had been dyed before. An employee of the Taller de Leon Soto works with a spreader and dyed yarn in the streets of Salcaja. He groups specific threads so that the intended patterns are properly sequenced for the warp. Sometimes the process is interrupted by traffic on the narrow cobblestone streets. Carlos, the taller's owner, holds a warp bundle of jaspe-dyed yarn as he invites us in. Inside, a young boy works with a swift or winder to fill bobbins for the ever-hungry shuttles used with a floor loom. Carlos learned floor loom weaving and simple jaspe techniques from his father. In warp jaspe, the weft threads are solid colors and do not need to have minute adjustments on each shed row to perfect the pattern as it emerges. The jaspe pattern is set when the loom is warped. Carlos, however, uses jaspe-dyed yarn for both warp and weft, forming what is called double jaspe. This process is more complex and time-consuming than what his father taught him. The textile Carlos is working on has 1,600 warp threads. Multiple heddle rods create the sheds through which the different shuttles are thrown. Before the Spaniards arrived, Maya used only cotton or agave, a fiber that comes from a cactus, to weave textiles. But sheep soon followed the conquerors, and wool became an important source for yarn. At higher elevations like Momos Tenango, home production of wool textiles continues. Jesus's family shares the chores of carding and spinning wool. Although he now owns a store in Panajachel, he still remembers the skills practiced throughout his childhood. His father is the only one skilled at using the huge loom. Since he is not present during our visit, his family tries to describe the process. After a blanket or poncho is woven, the family takes it to a hot springs higher up the mountain, where it is dipped and wrung out numerous times to shrink or felt it. In Patsisia, Patrona wears the traje of her community, including a huipil and a cinta to arrange her hair. She weaves a servilleta made of just one panel that women place on their heads when they go to market. As well as a sunshade, it serves to carry home purchases. Patrona kneels at her backstrap loom to weave. Weaving just an hour or so a day, it will take her 4 days to complete the piece. Patrona's daughter, Pilar, works on a huipil in the same compound, also in the kneeling position. Pilar is wearing a Patoon-style huipil. She copies the pattern from a borrowed San Antonio Aguascalientes huipil. She plans to wear her huipil during the Easter festival. On the other side of the family courtyard, Pilar's sister, Santa, weaves indoors in the same position as her mother and sister. Santa also wants a huipil in the style of San Antonio Aguascalientes for Easter and is copying a pattern from a printed sheet. Rafaela sits on a small chair and works on a backstrap loom in the courtyard of her home in San Antonio Aguascalientes. The huipil she wears is a combination of single-faced geometric patterns and double-faced floral or marcador designs. Here she is working on a multi-purpose cloth or tsute made of 2 panels that will be sewn together. Rafaela was my own weaving teacher when I studied the art in Guatemala in 1978. She still teaches weaving in her home. She also demonstrates weaving and sells her work in the garden of a language school in Antigua and travels occasionally to the United States for museum demonstrations. Rafaela's daughter, Graciela, works close by, sitting on a short stool. She is weaving a child's huipil, all in one panel, using the true double-faced weaving style of San Antonio Aguascalientes. This style is labor and material intensive. An adult huipil requires 3 to 4 months to complete and can be sold for up to $250. Even though Graciela knows how to weave the San Antonio Aguascalientes style huipil, she does not wear one. Instead, she likes to wear a blusa made of eyelet material with added embroidery. Graciela continues with her weaving while at the same time helping her 10-year-old daughter, Karine Melissa, learn to weave. Karine Melissa, who also sits on a stool, is making her second weaving sampler. Young Maya girls now attend school and are exposed to many distractions outside of traditional home life. The patience and skill of the mother in teaching her daughter to weave often determines whether the daughter will continue practicing the art form. In a garden in Panajachel on Lake Atitlan, Teresa and her daughters enjoy a late afternoon together. Both Teresa and her 8-year-old daughter Jessica kneel to weave on their backstrap looms. They both use wood and bamboo sticks in their looms. Red and purple are the usual Panajachel colors for huipiles, though the patterning has changed in recent years. Both Jessica and her mother are weaving panels for huipiles with supplementary weft brocading, similar to that found in San Lucas Doliman. Jessica is adding a row of ducks to her densely patterned textile. Teresa, whose work sells in an upscale store in Antigua, has been a good teacher for her daughter. Jessica beats the textile hard with her sword, using all her strength to bang down the wefts. Beating creates the tightness of the cloth, making it more durable in order to survive the harsh washing techniques practiced by Maya women. 10-year-old Daisy also weaves, but prefers to watch today. And 6-year-old Graciela puts down her school books to help out by winding a ball of yarn that will be used as supplementary weft patterns. We can only wonder what patterns and styles this new generation of Maya weavers will bring to the world of the future. Maya traje used to be conceived of as an identity badge, linking the wearer to a specific community. Displacement during the war years, however, forced many Maya to hide their identity. Today, some Maya still wear traje from their own community. Others have broken the tradition, either due to fear during violent times or exposure to fashions outside their community during more recent times. These Maya enjoy weaving and wearing traje that appeals to them, regardless of its origin. Fine weaving is the result of excellent eye-hand coordination, good memory, persistence, and physical strength. Resilience and perseverance have long characterized the Maya. Today, they carry on the traditions of their ancestors while struggling to survive one of the most difficult economic and social periods of their long history. Through their textiles, the Mayas see themselves in mirrors that reflect both the history of changing civilizations and their mythical history as it is engraved in stone. With the introduction into the world market of new products made by the Maya, cloth and clothing are also an integral part of their future.